Hello everyone. I hope you guys are learning quite well with this video method. In the first session, we have do some critical study as we have start with the Gabriel Oaks point of view. In second video, we have discussed with the Sergeant Troy and Bathsheba's relation. Now we are coming down towards the final person and Bathsheba's interaction and how their life get changes. What are the changes are coming in the both side? We will notice that, and we will do some critical study. So let me start the part 3 from Boldwood's vision of Bathsheba. Looking back at the masculine idea of the Victorian era, Farmer Boldwood did not quite fit that bill. Means, as we have seen in the part 2, it's a satire on Sergeant Troy. Just because Sergeant Troy representation of masculine idea or qualities, but William Boldwood not able to fit in that qualification. But why Bathsheba get attract or make a gimmick with this person? And that what are the reason or what are the basis for that she was doing? And one more thing, why William Boldwood become a suitor or the lover of Bathsheba? What are the reason that that man also become a suitor of Bathsheba? So see, in this line we will find the answer. Being described as a rather stiff, conservative man, it's a description about William Boldwood, but he was by no means adventurous nor particularly skilled, also approaching the age of 40. These are the characteristics of William Boldwood. That and a description about that man, that that man want Bathsheba. So these are the things, the outlook inside both we have seen in this two line. But he he could be, but his modest wealth was certainly sufficient to provide to him and his future wife as a comfortable life. Every person has a two side, good and bad. So first we have seen bad side, or not the bad too much, but some of the things which Boldwood was lacking. But one thing which he was holding that may cover up all the losing idea, that what was he hold, that is the only thing is wealth can cover up all the thing which you lose, like the unskillfulness or the age of 40s, but still it's a cover up. Why? Just because the wealth, vitamin M, means that the money can purchase anything whatever you want on that basis. So you can start interpreting that how that man was conveys happiness by how that man want their happiness by on the basis or the ground of wealth. Keep in mind that's why the second sentence is like that, provide to him and his future wife as a comfortable life. What he offered to Bathsheba was in a perfect accordance with the Victorian requirement of a homely, comfortable, and necessary to work for a woman. The things as in a Victorian era, that woman required a rest and a beautiful home, and all the life they survive on the basis of the healthy of that wealthy man's house. So that characteristic we will find in a William Boldwood, that William Boldwood as a far enough rich man, there is a good home, plus that big farms that man was holding, so that there is a Bathsheba can live lifelong very easily, peacefully, and beautifully. According to Victorian era, these are the requirements of an average woman's desire or the dreams that they can survive. But requirement of a humbly comfortable and necessary. But Bathsheba was not that kind of woman which we know that. So here one of the quote tell about a differentiate between man and woman about Victorian era, how Victorian era defined man and how that was defined woman. So let's say Victorian culture where the realm of public, a scientific, the politic belongs unquestioningly to men. So these are the things unfortunately go with the men side. Scientifics, politics, all the things are going with the men, leaving the private. Now that what goes to women side? So leaving the private, the physical and domestic at the only expectable women's space. So now you can differentiate or now you get the Victorian characteristics properly understand. So these are the basis of the novel, that why Thomas Hardy was writing and what he actually tried to tell us, the differentiate between man and woman that he want to portray in his novel. So that was the core idea behind that. Now we can interpret it in that way. As a farmer, Bollywood promise in his proposal to Bathsheba, we can see the proposal, how he proposed. I will protect and cherish you with all my strength. What was the strength? Strength is simply the money. So, one more time. I will protect and cherish you with all my strength. I will indeed you. You shall have no cares. Be worried by no household affairs. I live quite at easy, Miss Evadre. Unfortunately, what Bollywood fails to realize is not what Bathsheba actually wants. Average man, average thinking. So William Bollywood think that money make happier to anyone. If you have money, you can purchase anything, but you cannot purchase the heart of woman. So that he thinks that on the basis of money he can win Bathsheba, but unfortunately that was not a true. In his vision, having a husband, a house, and nothing to care for must have been the ultimate dream from every woman, but not the Bathsheba's dream. His perspective, heavily influenced by the tradition division of male and female pair, clearly blind him from Bathsheba's signal of hesitation and a doubt to such an extent that he refused to acknowledge them completely. In third para, instead the reader is to find out later that Bollywood in a preparation for their wedding turned Bathsheba's future bedroom into a what could be the best described as a shrine. Now that William Bollywood was making a designing room, a bedroom for Bathsheba, and what he doing there, that see the lines of novel. There were several sets of a lady dress, all of color, which from Bathsheba's style of dress might have been judged to be her favorites. The previous quote illustrated Bollywood's obsession with the Bathsheba rather than loving the real Bathsheba and trying to understand her feeling and motivation. In he invested all his possession in a vision of her, a certain of his mind, a mere illusion. Means we can find that men won't make Bathsheba happy by giving her a physical happiness. The materialism that man was living, he think that if I will put some of the colorful clothes, jewelries, and anything that make Bathsheba's life easier, so that way she like or she feel love or she feel special. But unfortunately Bathsheba was not that kind of woman that she want that happiness. She don't believe on the materialism, but she is below above materialism. She was thinking she need only an a care, emotion, feelings, what she want. But William Bolwood was failing or lacking on that point. The final para, it's a talk that the tragic end of their relationship for is foreshadowed at various places throughout the novel, especially by the fact that Bollywood gaze makes Bathsheba feels increasingly uneasy. At first, she earned his attention, and that was the mistake from Bathsheba's side. We can see it. At the first, she earned his attention, and even admit feeling triumphant to find out the his eyes. She know were following her everywhere. So it's a mistake from Bathsheba's side also. However, was however as a Wittenberg point out, the feminist critics, Wittenberg pointed out that she later find his stress and him too intense as and is a repelled. Clearly, even though the male gaze could be considered admiring and thus inherently positive under certain circumstances, there is a very fine line between feeling flattered and restrained. Just there is a between admiration and obsession. So that is the difference between admiring and someone's obsession. So that was talks about Palmer, the 14-year-old man, William Boldwood, and what are the thoughts of that person's, how he judge women that we see, and how he want to make happy Bathsheba. But what are the condition of Bathsheba that William Bold would never understand, and unfortunately we can say that Bathsheba also make a mistake, that's why she faced little bit trouble also. Same with the Sergeant Troy also. But finally that the poor person win. So we can say that sometimes masculine or the power, or sometimes that money cannot win, sometimes emotion can also win. So the Gabriel Oko is an emotional person who wins. So friends, hope so you get an idea that what are the narration on going on with this Far From an Mending Crowd. It's a given a Victorian era time period. Women cannot do anything. It's a woman can do all thing in private places, but if Bathsheba doing something in openly means it's a not from a Victorian culture, it's against to a Victorian culture, and still she was doing something. So that is great. At that point, we can understand differently. Now we can see Bathsheba with different angle, different perspective, and now when we see these three men with the different angle. I hope so, friend. You guys have an understanding.